Greetings. Hello, greetings. Welcome to another stream about Purge Css. Yeah. Last time we left off trying to find a function that was declared in a Typescript declaration, but we just couldn't find its definition. And some interesting stuff happened. I think one of the reasons I couldn't find it is because it literally didn't exist. I think I was streaming it at the time when the repository owner was shuffling it around, because a couple of days later after the stream, I'll go back to the repository and it's been archived. So Purge Css, Post CSS that we've been working on actually doesn't exist anymore in a state that I was trying to discover it in. I was working on version 1 and apparently version wrong one, and apparently version 2 was in the making. So just to see, yeah, we were on version 1.6 here. Yeah, 1.3, yeah, 1.3 and 1.6. Post CSS, Purge CSS was at 1.3, and plugins was at 1.6 and 1. And just a few days later, literally, probably same week, the thing went to version 2.06, and the repository was killed. It got changed into a full TypeScript version, and I don't even know TypeScript, and it was moved as, from what I understand, a sub-project or sub-repository or workspace or something of the main Purge CSS repository. So this is where it lives now. I've already checked it out. So that is this thing here. And it has some interesting notable changes. One, the whole thing is written in TypeScript now. Purge CSS Post CSS plugin was somewhat difficult because it had some JavaScript blobs that seemed to have come from Flow compiler. And then there was a TypeScript definition that I think somehow tried to link a strong type declaration of the interface onto the JavaScript blob so that other repositories, other frameworks could figure out how to use the JavaScript blob. But it was mainly written in Flow. And then I was going through the compiled version of it and trying to see how it worked back into the source, but other sources were missing, and it was a mess. Now, all of Purge CSS plugins are organized, or the author has organized it under these packages, subdirectory of the main repository, and using this learner thing, which I've never seen before. I tried to figure out how to use it, what it does. What it does is relatively simple theoretically, which is... actually, here's a test of whether I understand what it does or not. I can explain what it does. I think it allows multiple subdirectories of JavaScript project to be treated as independent libraries. So we have the main Purge CSS project, that is. Then we have Purge CSS as the framework library that has its own package JSON. And then each of the plugins is another subdirectory adjacent to it. It has its own package JSON declaration, I guess. And I think Lerna is able to treat them each as a separate package that can be then tied together using your typical dependencies. I haven't really figured out how to use it yet, though I think it will be beneficial for me for my other main project, because I'm currently struggling with dependency hell of using npm links. So this could be worth learning for me. Then there are workspaces that designate each subdirectory, and the combination of workspaces and learner, WebStorm doesn't seem to understand very well, and so every time I navigate somewhere, it doesn't really know what to do with it. It's complaining that I have to install the dependencies on it. Oh, and the other nice thing about learner is it manages dependencies of sub-projects at the root level. So the root level one, that's, where is it? That's this one, has most of the stuff that everybody needs. Then the individual packages declare their own dependencies, and they all get managed by one top-level node modules. The way I do it now in my own project is I have separate node modules under every subdirectory, and that's given me a very miserable start of 2020, let's say, total disaster. So I have to fix that eventually, and maybe there's something I can learn from this repository. But anyway, the other benefit of the author moving Purge Css, Post Css plugin into this thing is that, if I can find it now, I can actually find the functions I was looking for. Yes, that is very exciting. So whenever there is a function declaration, this is the one that I was trying to find desperately last time. Extract selectors from files and extract selectors from string. There was only typing for it, but no definition. Or rather the other way around. There was a definition but no implementation. Now I can actually navigate to it. Yay! So that's very helpful. Minor downside, I have no idea about TypeScript. So figuring out this thing as I go, that may go sideways too. But that's the reality of the job. And whenever any of the noobs ask, what language do I have to learn? What is the best language this year? What is the language that I need to learn? Whatever language the damn dependency is making you learn that day, that's the language you learn. So that's the real world of development. You do PHP one day, you do C# one day, you're all happy, yeah, best language in the world. And then 2 hours later, you're forced to learn TypeScript because that's what the dependency is written in, and what can you do? Nice ginger tea in my favorite cup. So I'm not going to make a nice tutorial that pretends I somehow magically know everything. Going to show the struggle of what it's like all of a sudden meeting a technology that you've never seen before, and yet you need to get the thing to work. Okay, so essentially we have to pretty much restart all the figuring out what we did last time, and the whole reason why we have assembled here today as a recap is the constructable style sheets. As a recap of that, the idea is I want to use I want to use Tailwind eventually, because Bootstrap has given me such a nightmare this month. I am mostly using Blazor with C# right now, and just trying to figure out a name for every little section is just horrible. the amount of conflicts, the amount of overrides, or just getting stuck in figuring out how to split a corner case. Like if you have a table column and there's a corner case for it being the last column versus like the one before last versus the first one. And so you have the general style that gives me certain buttons for every column, but then the last column must have a plus sign to be able to add more columns to the other direction. And then if there are no columns at all, if there is one column, then you don't have the delete button, so every column must also be deletable. So those are like the corner cases of a typical table. And having the main style split into all these named sections that typical Bootstrap setup needs, and all the compiler issues that you have, because the main framework is the main framework over there, and then I have the C# sub-projects that do their own library UIs as necessary. And then having the mainly named table somehow split that style per CSS, per C# project, split that name into subnames for the corner cases of those elements is just a disaster. So I want to go to Tailwind where there are no names of elements. Instead, you just give it classes, as many classes as you want, as you need for an HTML tag. So that would be like this. That's what I really want to do, because that's going to immensely help me with my multi C# project. But I also use web components that has even worse issue with that. And with web components, the top level document styles do not propagate to the shadow DOM roots. And so I want to use Constructable Stylesheet standard, where CSS is a JavaScript object that gets applied directly to the element, or in my case, shadow root. Oh yeah, element, yes, where that style wants to be used. So if I have a Tailwind compiled bundle, I want to take only the chunks or only the selectors out of it that are necessary for that component and put it as a JavaScript object into here, right? Because if I don't do that, I'm going to have to literally put the entire 50,000 lines of Tailwind into every single numerous HTML custom element I have. And the browsers and CPU is not going to be happy about that. There's going to be a union of CPUs, electrons, that are going to go after me for making them work too hard. So that's the general aim. And based on what we've seen with how the previous version of Purge Css plugin worked, it appeared that a convenient way, at least for starters, would be to parse the entire code base for the selectors that I'm using, let Purge Css do its stripping, so it takes out all the selectors from the CSS that I don't need, and then go through another scan of the JavaScript files, or HTML files for that matter, and rematch what Purge Css has done with the styles that we discovered. It is a two-pass process, which is not efficient, but at the moment I think that may be the most comfortable way, just as I'm trying to figure out how this works in the first place. So, since this thing is totally different, we have to go and figure out how this works again. They're now using Jest for test runner, which again doesn't work with workspaces with my IDE. It seems to be all command line. Like I can run most of Jest commands from here. What's the script for it? Okay, it's just npm run Jest. Okay, npm run test. It does stuff so far. Currently, this repository doesn't pass a bunch of grunt tests. There's 3 failed there. And I do want to debug, of course. 1 and 2, I don't want the entire thing to be running and hitting my breakpoints where I don't expect. So I did a quick setup where I have a in my IDE runner, I set the parameter to specify the name of the specific task that I want to do. So not the whole test library, but just this much. And the rejected, that is the name of the test, where so far I have found where I forgot now actually. Where is that? Rejected. Oh, really? Okay, if this is the name of the test, then I should be able to find it in the finder, no? Okay, well that is odd. Oh no, is this it? Oh, it's a file name. That's right, it's a file name, not a test name. Yeah. I couldn't figure out how to make this specific test run that is specified by it. I only could figure out how to run a test based on the file name. Could be inconvenient. I think I might just create my own file name. So this is sitting in here, rejected test CSS, which is under Purge Css. So this will hopefully give us an idea of how Purge Css does its job at all. Because one thing I wasn't even sure anymore is, do I really want this to be a post-CSS plugin? In one way, it could be still interesting or useful. One thing I also misunderstood is how Tailwind is not really written in CSS. It's fully written in JavaScript. The CSS that it compiles isn't actually sourced in a repository. It is generated completely using JavaScript. And the output is CSS, but that's it. There is no other CSS there. So does it make sense for me to purge it while Tailwind is being generated? Or is it acceptable to have Tailwind be generated, having it in the temporary CSS source, I guess, and then purge that, right? It could be an idea, but yeah, I'm not sure since this reorganization. The other interesting piece is there is this Purge Css from HTML. That could be useful. The Purge Css from HTML, this one could be useful for doing a second pass where we look for where the CSS selectors that Purge CSS have assembled and purged, or rather left after purge, where are those selectors found? Because we need to get those selectors back into the file where they came from so we can stuff them into JavaScript objects. At the same time, Purge CSS being a JavaScript library, even though it makes CSS, I wonder if later on can figure out how to make Purge CSS, not Purge CSS. These names are going to drive me insane. If there is a way to make Post CSS to not output CSS at all, but keep whatever it's doing as JavaScript objects that can then be re-entered into our styles, right? No real need for CSS file if that CSS file is going to go away in favor of being JavaScript object at the end of the day. But yeah, not really sure how that can work, so I'm not going to just yet. For now, just need to get the post CSS thing done. So let's just see how post CSS does things. We have this returns list of rejected selectors with chaining rules. We also got some whitelist here, but the main thing here is we have actually return list of rejected selectors. Is this a good test to begin with? We have this chaining rules index HTML. What does that do? Index HTML from chaining rules. Okay, so we've got, okay, that's a more complicated one. I don't want to go there just yet. This is a good one to start with. It returns list of rejected selectors. Although I wonder what's the naming convention. It returns list of rejected selectors. Why rejected and not the accepted ones? That's an odd one. But okay, whatever. Let's just do it. So we have our remove unused. This is our stub. So where is this thing? Remove unused.js. Okay, so this is a used class. And what are they doing it against? Against remove unused CSS. Where is that? I think that's in test examples. What is root? Do we know what root declaration even is? Yes, root is packages, Purge CSS, test examples, remove unused. That's this one, and remove unused CSS. Okay, that's not the right one. So these are the right ones. So we've got the overall CSS that it wants to process, and we got remove unused. So what's the expectation here? The expectation is these two selectors, I guess, are going to go away. Okay, let's see how they manage to do that. Let's make sure we even can hit that test there. So press that. Okay, I think this is some of my other breakpoints. I want to begin. Wait, what? Oh, this is JavaScript being JavaScript again, isn't it? The breakpoints are not matched with the source code. No, of course not. Because that would make the job easy. Because I wanted to make sure I don't go into the source unless I hit the correct test that I'm expecting to test. I don't know, maybe if I do it earlier. Oh, what is all this? No, go away. One more time. Really? And this thing really doesn't know how to match line numbers with debugger. Oh well. Okay, so new Purge Css. So imagine I will just go into a constructor. What assertion? Oh, this thing is totally mismatched. Unbelievable. Okay, so Purge Css constructor. What? Okay, this thing is hopeless. This thing is absolutely hopeless. Let's do this manually then, I guess. Alright, so going. Okay, wait, that's an object. Where does this thing finish declaring? Purge. What is that? Wait, is that? Okay, that's the function. Okay, fine. So that's our function. Do this one more time. Okay, it hits there. So that's our purge. So off we go. Content and CSS. What are these variables? Okay, so the content is our simple.js. That is simple. What test is this testing? Oh, that's a whole different test altogether. Okay, let's try this one now. Is this one testing what I expect? No, it's not. Okay, now it is. Okay, so now we're in the test that we actually want to do. So this is the third test. Maybe I should just comment this out, but okay, fine. I'll comment it out later. So here we are. Content. Right, there we go. So content is remove unused. And CSS is remove unused CSS. That's that. And extractors. That's interesting. I'm not sure who extractors are supposed to be. I guess maybe custom logic for how to get CSS out of the files, my guess. Okay, raw format contents. CSS file selectors. What we got? Okay, so this looks like. What does this look like? I think this should be the file, right? This should be the file. So was it able to? Okay, undetermined. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, because this is a JavaScript file, it's interesting. So they're not actually parsing it using HTML rules. They just do a tokenizer over it. Okay, fair enough. So here is an undetermined thing that has the used class. Okay. So this is what it found in the sources. So I guess this is what it wants to keep eventually. Get Purge Css. Okay, that sounds like business. That is a big parameter. Oh, no, not a big parameter, but a big... something big. Oh, this must be our undetermined thing here. So attributes, names, values, classes. Okay, so is this just collecting stuff? But wait, if this is just a place to organize selectors that it found, why would the function be called merge? How did we get to merge? What is the merge? Oh, I see. I stepped into the merge. I did not notice this function at all here. Okay, so this is merging stuff. Very good, thank you. So merge. Some more merge. What? Really? You couldn't go into the Purge Css? Oh, come on. Seriously? Oh. Yeah, you do not have these problems in C#. You have these problems in PHP even. One of the reasons that drove me away from it recently I just can't deal very well with breakpoints, lines not much in a source code. And that was an issue in PHP in a couple of places. I just didn't want to deal with that anymore. But in C#, that's not a problem. And I should really use my glasses. There we go. Glasses on. There we go. Okay, so that means we have to go through this one more time. And we have to do this, what, in a third click? Because that's... Okay, now we'll go to this test. Now, okay, there we go. So Purge Css. Do I care about this breakpoint? I don't know, maybe not. Okay, so get Purged Css. So process options. Okay, we don't have any options. Type of option. Wait. Now, I haven't used Typescript before, but I have heard that the promise of it is strong typing, and then you know what to do based on type. And yet it does these weird type checks. Isn't like Typescript supposed to fix that? I don't know. I thought that's what I heard. I don't know. Weird. Okay, whatever. I guess we're just doing some options processing. Boring. Process options. Is it still options processing? What? Okay, no, we're still in Purge. That's good. No, because we're circling back to get Purged Css. Or did it, That's not a recursive call by any chance, is it? What? Get Purged Css. Didn't I just put a breakpoint here? Oh, I guess I didn't yet. Okay, that is just creepy. I have no idea what just happened. Okay, we are in get Purged Css now. Yeah, I went through all this. I went through here where we've gone through options. There were no options. Was this the recursive call? I'm not sure. Okay, anyway. But we have something called the root. And we have post CSS. Okay, so that's interesting. So Purge CSS actually used post CSS to parse CSS content. So CSS content, it read in the file. Wait, what? That's not the file we're working with. What test is this? Okay, whatever, you know what? I guess it jumped to a different... No, it didn't. Okay, yes, it did jump to a different test. Fine, you know what? I don't care right now. We'll just comment out... Sorry, we'll just comment out the test that we don't care about. Let's just see what this does. So this is the CSS content. Okay, so that's good. And then the root is 3 of it. Okay, so that's nice. This is actually something that I was looking for last stream. This is one of the things I was looking for exactly. This is a tree of all the styles. And it is in this abstract form, so that's good. It's a type of rule. These are the nodes. What is this an HTML node or is this an abstract syntax tree node? No, looks like this is an AST node because we have prop color, value red, so that must be, so it must be called on listings nodes. Um, okay, so now it's going to walk through it, but yeah, but before it does its walkies, we got nodes. Yeah, these are the rules. I'm just trying to think ahead. How well can what's the use I can have out of this? How can I use this? Because this is good stuff here. This is the selector. So if I have this selector that I know from the node, and then I do my double pass on the sources, this could be something. So here's my question. Is this tree going to be kept as is after it does the removals? The thing is, I'm not sure what is this thing being tested against. So this is in what test? This is in here. Chaining rules index HTML. Where are chaining rules? These are chaining rules. Index HTML, right? Okay, so that's our index HTML chaining rules. Very good. And what is a style sheet? That's the style sheet. I'll just take a closer look at this. This versus that. So the idea is that parent 1, okay, there is no parent 1 alone. There is parent 1a, so imagine this needs to be left over. And there is parent 1 def, but not this def, because I think when there is no space. Wait, when there is no space, does that mean that this class has to be exactly on the same one? Can I open this thing in Chrome just to see? Because this is interesting. Well, not so much interesting, but confusing, actually. So if I have this open, bring that over here. What selector does this thing want? Like, what selector is that? That is... Oh, great. Actually, I don't care. All I care about is getting the selectors right? So, okay, yes, I didn't define anything. But if I do put a space, it will find the div, right? So the idea is, I think, that this thing should be stripped. What is this thing? So, yeah, reject. Okay, interesting. So it actually keeps track of what was rejected. Okay. And yeah, wait, what? Yeah, parent 1. Wait, how is this not rejected? Why is that one not expected to be in a rejected list? Because there is no selector parent1.def. So parent1.def should not be there. No, it should not. Rejected. Then there is the p tag, of which they... What? Are they keeping the p tag in? Okay, that is just odd. Assuming... Oh, yeah, there is no p tag here, right? There is no p. No, there isn't. So why are they not rejecting it? Oh, they are rejecting it. Good lord. Okay, they are rejecting that. But still, why are they not rejecting this one? That one I think should be rejected. I think it should. Oh well. Either way, what I want to know at the moment is what is the state of the syntax tree. What does walkthrough CSS does? Evaluate. Okay, so it still does extra evaluations. Whoa. Oh, way to go. I pressed the step over. Ah. Yeah, I pressed step over, so okay, fine. I'll have to see what this does. What does this do anyway? Evaluate CSS selector and decide if it should be removed or not. Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna trust your decision. That's what you're here for, to make this very complicated decision for me. So thank you very much for doing that. What I care about is, okay, what does root? Okay, so the root now has been stripped to only two rules, which is dot parent 1a Yep. And the second rule is where is the selector? Oh yeah. See, I don't get this one. I honestly don't. Like, am I missing something in how is that supposed to work? So let me just mess with this tiny little bit. If I have a style there, that should be red, right? Did I close that already? Yes, I did. Open in... Oh, can I just open that in browser? No, probably shouldn't, because it's going to do its internal built-in server. I don't want to do that. I just want to do this and reopen it. Yeah, it's not red. But if I do it like that, it's going to be red. So I think we may have found, I think we may have found a bug in Purge Css, because this should be thrown out. Yeah, that should be thrown out. Okay, so we will... I don't know, do I want to put a to-do there? Let's see, where can I do this? Oh, this is CSS. That's not how comments look in CSS. That's how comments look in CSS. This should be actually not even here. Go into the actual test. So to do on this one, parent one dot def should be rejected. Yes, it should. And what we can do is have another little to do that will say to do add test to check parent one space def is capped. Right. Okay, so I think we found the Purge CSS bug, so that's one thing that I guess we can say the evening hasn't been put to waste. So that's exciting. Or maybe this was even reported. Do we have any issues reported here, I wonder? No, mostly feature requests. Anyway, not relevant. What is relevant is where? Oh yeah, here. Yeah, what is relevant is at the end of the call, the nodes of the root are still in this abstract syntax tree structure, which is great because then I can take these and push them into my JavaScript constructible object. Do I still have the original definition of them? So these are my two nodes. Okay, I still have the original select. Oh, that's a selector though. Where is the value for it? So that is the node. That is the selector. Okay, that's good. What about its actual? Ooh, that's yuck. Having to reassemble that back into CSS could be miserable. But then CSS is relatively simple in that there is just property value, so it shouldn't be that difficult to just run through nodes. So nodes of a node, is that the game here? So we got nodes 0, and then this selector, and then for every selector we'll look at its nodes. Yeah, I wish there was like an architecture diagram of what is meant by this, but anyway, the point is that that can be done, so that's good, because this is what I was looking for last time. Excellent. Okay, I guess we are doing some more stuff. If there is anything else to remove, we don't. Sources.push result. Ooh, what is this result? Sources. So source is an array. Push and the result is, ooh, that's, whoa. How did that happen? Okay, so we're gone from root to this result, which is a final CSS. Here's a list of stuff it rejected. Okay. Ooh, this is curious. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so it keeps track of the files where CSS came from, but not of where the selectors came from. That's disappointing. Okay, so it looks like it's done the work for me to reassemble the CSS back, but no, I don't think I actually can use this. I can't use this because this has given me everything. And how do I know that this thing hasn't been capped as a result of multiple usage files, right? Because I still have to know what file each of these selectors came from. That's the main idea. Okay, but we have that. where this came from. Return sources. What is sources? Okay, so now it's giving me... What is this? Oh, that's the same file. Okay, so you've got CSS string. You get a file where CSS file was found. Yeah, that's low level, unrelated stuff. Don't care about that. Okay. So that is pretty exciting. That is very pleasant. We now can tell that there is a CSS tree that we can walk through to get our syntax. Now, how different is that tree from what a constructible syntax needs? Let's check. What does the constructible syntax look like? That is just selector. Yeah, that's just a string. So that should work. Walk through those nodes and get the string out of them and add them into... and add them using the insert rule. Yeah. Add them using the insert rule. I wonder, does insert rule... can this be multiple rules? Can this be multiple rules? Let's find out. So we have a main style. Oh, that's something else. So what am I styling here? Constructible. Can I open this in a browser? Yes, I can. Okay. So border something or other. Can I give this thing more than one rule? So let's see, what is my current selector of this thing? This is no border. I don't know, let's just say... these are my styles here, good grief. So shadow MD, background, no border, let's just say extra rule. I don't know. Can't think right now. So that is a dot extra rule. What do we want to give this button? I don't know, let's say padding 1 EM. Okay, so you can. So that in fact can be... Oh, jeez. Totally in the wrong place. Absolutely in the wrong place. That is not what I wanted. That's the replacement of a rule. I want to know if I want to insert multiple rules. That's what I really want. Okay, let's do that again. Whoa. No, you cannot do that. Insert rule failed to parse. Yeah, okay, so you cannot do that. Let's erase the last 2 minutes of the stream because we in fact cannot do that. So the question is, if we had to go through that tree and add those rules here, do we want to insert them one by one, or do we just want to say replace? I guess we can't really replace them because that would literally replace them, right? I'm thinking. So if I'm to do an insert rule, so if I'm to do an insert rule, it would have to be done, well, literally per node that is left over. Yeah, that's gonna need some serious benchmarking, won't it? I can see some performance benchmarking need to be done to make sure that doesn't kill the computer. That will be a curious exercise to see what's the difference in passing performance for the browser of doing a whole CSS file or using the insert rule of one at a time. But again, I don't... what if there is a way I can just do the entire replace sync? Well, actually, I think I should. So if I know what what web component wants which style, I should be able to just say replace sync and do the entire thing for it at once. And I did see that work. So I guess we can mix and match depending on circumstance. Right. So we know we can do that. Where is the output of that? Did Purge Css give me that as a final result? Or was that an internal variable that then got garbage collected? Because I would really, really want that to be in my actual result. It would be quite miserable if that variable would be... okay, so right there. Where all these files come from? Go away. Everybody go away. Okay, so debug that. Nope. Done with that, I think. Okay, done with you. You do whatever. Yeah, never got that to work. Okay, so Purge CSS result is an array. What's the point of using Typescript then? Seriously. Okay, so you have potentially what? Multiple results then? Purge CSS, oh, that's a bit scary. Does that literally mean I can have multiple results? Purge CSS what? Why can't I find that? What's my scope? Oh, I'll do the whole thing. There you go. Okay. Is it always going to be... No, get back there. Is this always going to be 0? Should be, yeah, I don't know. So far it seems to be, no, it seems to be always 0. That's the readme file. Oh, Purge CSS with WordPress. Oh. Okay. So far I've only seen the first element being accessed. So hopefully that will be the only one accessed. Fine. So it has the CSS. Oh no, it already gives me the final output. Ooh. It's not giving me the tree. Yikes, I was hoping it would give me that tree. So is that tree totally lost? What is that? What is this from? Anything relevant? Maybe. Anyway, let's go back here. So we go to purge. Extract selected some files, extract selected some strings, get purge CSS. Where was that? To root. There we go. Oh no! It does root.toString. No, ho 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 ho. So the AST that it goes through gets garbage collected that we actually look for. That is very sad. That is very sad that abstract syntax tree is getting garbage collected after it does this. Let's check on that. What does this root.toString do? Let's see, where exactly is that? Really, that's a JavaScript native function? CSS, what? Returns the CSS string representing the node. That is a built-in ES6 function. How? Is there something about ES6 that I don't know? Or most likely. Root.toString. What is this? Is this like a JavaScript native root then? What test is this from anyway? Okay, this is in simple.js. What is simple? This is from the test. Simple CSS. Oh yeah, I've seen that. Single double class, triple class. Okay, and this is the single double class. Okay, so everything should be kept. Okay, fine. So there shouldn't be anything rejected. You have to be undefined. And are you actually telling me that, where did that go? This root over here, that's an actual like node root? Can't be. Okay, when post CSS does a parse, what does it return? Root. Container base represents a CSS file and contains all its parsed nodes. This is from, yeah, that's post CSS stuff. That it's not JavaScript native. Container base is node base. Extends node base. Okay, this is okay. Still post. Okay, fine. Returns the input source of the node. The property is used in source map generation. If you create node manually, that will not. Okay, fine. Okay, but either way, we have very sad news to report here. That this here is not being kept. Stringify, go away. No, stringifier. Yeah, toString, stringify, the stringify results, stringifier. Okay, so it does concatenation in some really strange way. toString. Return CSS interpretation only. Okay, fine. He just does it somehow. Whatever. Okay. Let's see, can we bookmark this? Because this is a good point. This one is... can I add a bookmark? I hardly use bookmarks in IntelliJ, but I wonder if I can try to use them. Bookmarks is one of those things for me that as soon as I make them, I forget I have them. Or if I do have them, I have so many, I have to have like a bookmark manager. So I just end up never relying on them. Oh, what did that do? Apparently that just killed the program. Okay, fine. Oh yeah, there we go. Set bookmark. Add a description. So this would be what? CSS abstract syntax 3 gets converted to string, right? So that's what we are experiencing. Do I have a bookmark manager then? See, I added a bookmark, but like, where do you even see them? What? Yeah, I don't get how to use them, honestly. Navigate. Let's see. IntelliJ bookmarks. Shift F11. Ooh. Okay. Let's see how long before I forget how that works. So Shift F11. I'll keep that window down there for my reference. So one way I can hack this thing, I guess, is in this result. Where was that result object thing? Because you return sources. Oh yeah, result. There you go. So result. So if I say result, but I still do... Wait, is that why it returns an array of stuff? It returns... what? A source per CSS file? How does it recombine those? That's interesting. So what you're saying is if I... oh no, purge... okay. Oh, well, there is purge versus get purged. Get purged... does it recombine them? That's my question. Dot push. Yeah, it doesn't seem to recombine them. Just strange. Oh well, whatever. Anyway, the point is, what I probably will want is in here. Where is my fancy bookmarks? My fancy bookmark. In my fancy bookmark, I probably want to keep the AST. Oh, great. Typescript definitions. So CSS file AST. What's the type of that? What is root type of? Const. Again, what's the point of using TypeScript if you're just going to give these arbitrary names that I still don't know what's inside of it? Oh yeah, root. So okay, I clearly don't know TypeScript. Well, like I said, this was my very first time ever in life writing any TypeScript. So apparently that's not how you do that. So if I want this to be type root, how would I do that, right? I want this thing, which is the result of parser. So parser gives back root. That's from PostCSS. Is there an import statement of some kind? Like if I want to use the PostCSS thingy there, is that possible? Import. Okay, PostCSS is imported. So how would I actually do it? Create class root? No. Oh, import root from pass. Okay, so what did that do? That did something. Okay, there we go. So import root from PostCSS, select a parser. Thank you very much, IDE. Okay, so I've written my very first ever in life TypeScript line. Yay! Oh, except it still doesn't work. Okay, take that back. Take that back, because apparently it still doesn't work. Type root is missing the following properties. What? The expected types comes from property st, which is declared. Root is missing the following properties from root. Node at well what was this thing then? Okay, whatever. What was that thing again? So if I do this, no, it's gonna not compile, right? Because yeah, it didn't compile properly. Was the result declaration? Okay, so get rid of that. Then we do this. What is the root? Yeah, root is this, no? That's root. Is there a different type of root? Like, okay. So, oh, type of. What does type of do? Object. Yay, that's helpful. Okay. Is it possible to say? No, apparently it's not. Okay, so how do you? Okay, here's a question for the noob. How do you declare variables in TypeScript? TypeScript declare variable. There we go. Let's go full noob here. How do you actually do variables in TypeScript? Okay, something, another type. Okay, so root. I think this is the right one. Oh, maybe ooh, maybe that's how I was supposed to do that. Maybe I picked the wrong namespace. PostCSS dot. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I just give it the wrong namespace. Okay. Oh, I see. It's not complete anymore. Okay, so yeah, that's like my first day using TypeScript, and even then I can tell. Like if you have a variable, just say what it is. So I don't have to run into an issue of figuring out how to reuse it in other places. What is this? Okay, that's fine. So now if I go to here for my Purge Css result, I now have root, which has the stuff, and I have CSS content. Okay. So do I even want to then keep CSS content? Probably not, Now I want to keep CSS content of some of the things. I'll definitely break it completely if I remove the CSS, because like the rest of the packages surely need the CSS variable to be there. So if I just remove it because I don't want it, well, that's gonna just break everything. Yeah, I can also see the downside of having the root being carried through in all the objects. That's probably gonna use so much memory. Because now this giant thing has to be kept alongside the CSS content. That can't be pretty, but anyway, well, we've written more code today than we did last time. So that's aspirational, I would say. And I'm streaming for hour and 20 minutes, so I'm ready for a break before thinking about what to do with the rest of this. So let's do that. Let's do a pause, a break for 10 minutes and come back at 8:35. Let's adjust that. Be back at 20:35. Let's do that. Okay, time to get back. So now we have the CSS abstract syntax tree of the things that it kept. I'm assuming from all the sources, because in the tests here, it used this content as an array of files. And I remember from other examples, you can also put globs of files inside there. So I'm going to assume that this is going to be all the files. Although now I do wonder, Purged Css result, is this going to be per file? Yeah, it shouldn't matter. Either way, it shouldn't matter. I can just iterate through all of them because I don't care about the sources of the CSS. I only care about where they have been found. Now, on to where the sources can be found. How in the world are we going to do that? So do we want to keep track of where things have been found in Purge CSS? Now that we sort of see how it does things a bit more clearly after this repository has been cleaned up. My goodness, like this is so much easier to navigate now that it's a mono repository with sub-projects. Again, I'm still not comfortable with navigating sub-project with all this learner and whatnot, but just having everything in one mono repository here, I can actually see how this thing works. It's amazing. This is the post CSS Purge CSS. So, is this where I want to be? I don't know. CSS file selectors. Where does it actually do the... Wait, what? This is post CSS Purge CSS. This looks oddly familiar. This here looks very familiar. Why is that? Why does this look so suspiciously familiar? Unless post CSS uses that. Oh no, this is Purge Css. Okay, this chunk looks so familiar right here. Walk through CSS, remove unused, whatever. Looks identical to the post CSS side. And why is that? I'm trying to decide right now, does it make sense to have the sources of where things are found kept in Purge or in a separate plugin? That's what I want to figure out. And what's the difference between here and here? This looks almost copy and pasted. Yeah, this is the same. Oh, yes, because it's the same file. Okay, get back here. Okay, this section here looks very similar. Walk through CSS, blah, 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 this thing here. This is the Purge side, and this is Purge CSS post CSS side. Is there a big difference between these two? Not really sure one. I'm not really sure why it does that. Purge CSS options. And does post CSS use the same Purge CSS library? Walk through. So the act of purging is actually in the walkthrough. See, I would never guess that. Would never guess that. So the act... So what you're telling me is that I'm going to get the same thing here if I do it from the post CSS perspective. That is very curious. Does that matter to me? Result.messages push, Typescript plugin, text, select is removed, Purge CSS, select is removed, What does this thing give me back? HMMM .. exclamation mark. And the reason why I'm HMMing right now is that PurgeCSS actually doesn't use the purge interface, right? The problem we had was that the purge interface of purge, or the operation, it returns the result that, well, loses the information that we need. But the reason why it loses it is because it actually does the walkthrough, which keeps the root and then gives something else back. But PurgeCSS, oh my god, but PostCSS keeps it. Right? Now, oh, you know what? Probably because PostCSS is going to maybe do its own parsing of the tree. Maybe that's what's happening. Because this is a PostCSS plugin, right? This is PostCSS plugin. Now wondering, is this a pipeline of plugins? Because if it's a pipeline of plugins, can I then hook into whatever the next middleware of the pipeline, get the current state of PostCSS tree, if there is one, and then do that, right? Because my next step was going to be perhaps make like an own plugin that scans again the source files and matches whatever I'm finding in root with those source files. And once the match has been found, dump the CSS selector into this constructable stylesheet business, right? And that's kind of what I wanted. But if PostCSS sort of kind of does that, let's see, what does a typical PostCSS unit test look like? So PostCSS here, but see, it's a PostCSS, specifically PurgeCSS plugin, and I don't think I'm in the mood to override PostCSS the way it outputs stuff, right? Because I would have to literally make PostCSS not output the CSS file, but the result of this thing. Oh, I wonder if that actually changes the type of the problem that we are solving. Maybe this is not a PurgeCSS problem in the first place. Maybe this is a PostCSS issue. I don't know. But I guess if I don't want to use PostCSS in some project, if I get PurgeCSS to work with Constructable, that's already good. Is there a use case when I would not want to use post? I've never used post outside of Tailwind, so the only reason I'm using post is because that's what Tailwind says I'm supposed to use. Although, do I even need post CSS once the original Tailwind has been pretty much compiled, right? Because I don't use personally any post CSS features. So maybe I just need to compile Tailwind, having it be available, and then I just next start from Tailwind. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have to dive into post CSS at some point. If that made no sense, it made no sense to me either. You remove unused CSS with content option successfully. What? For every file, post CSS. Yeah, I would have to see how post CSS works at all. Because this looks complicated. Content function. What's a content function? Mock return value. What is this? It's like I have a slight suspicion this is like the answer right there. And I'm not seeing it because I don't know post CSS enough. It's really tempting to dig into this thing because it actually uses the walkthrough CSS directly, right? It's not using other thing. And in fact, I'm seeing now that this is using, this is actually a public function. So if this is a public function, then perhaps, wait, what? Wait, that makes no sense. Let me see this stupid unit test one more time. You go to PurgeCSS.purge this thing. It's a public async, promise, you get your selectors, you get your raw selectors, you get your purged CSS, yeah, you get all this. You get the purged version. Where do you actually get the root from? Right, so this root is post css.parse, but this is happening in there. Okay, then you do this. Is it possible for me to use walkthrough alone? Apparently not, because in the other plugin, before walkthrough was created, root had to be created manually, right? So this is my root here, and it was created somehow. Where is this thing even created? Okay, apparently it's been pushed in from somewhere. I don't know. Function options, return async function obtain. No, I don't know where this is. I don't know where this root is coming from, honestly. No idea. Yeah, so I have no idea where this root is coming from. There is this one here, Purge CSS from HTML. Let's just take a quick look at that, right? So you got this thing. That's a test. Purge HTML. You do a parse of HTML. See, they use even a different parser there, which is interesting. And one of these parser can even detect JavaScript files, which is what I have. add class name selectors.push element attributes class split LED. Okay, so it parses the HTML stuff. Okay, I wonder if it gets JavaScript files too. But it gets these selectors. Get selectors. Oh, that's it? Where is the actual purging? Or walk 3? Purge CSS from HTML equals this. Purge HTML. What? Oh, purge HTML gets exported as something else. Okay, whatever. Oh, this is just find tag selectors. I'm like, oh, where is it actually doing the purge? Finds ID, finds all selectors, finds. Where is it actually doing the test? That's just odd. I'm not seeing what that's about. It finds class selectors. Received includes. Purge HTML, parse file. I'm not sure what this does because I'm not seeing it actually doing a purge. I'm seeing it parsing the HTML, but I'm not seeing it actually extracting. And I was hoping to maybe use this. Like if I get this thing to parse my HTML, and then against this tree, I match this with abstract syntax tree from Purge CSS, then I can do my match that way. But that doesn't seem to happen here. So if it's not happening here, and PurgeCSS is doing its own match, what could be the next place for me to get the files? Now that's a question of the evening. We know we can get the CSS root using walkthrough CSS. That is amazing. I'm really happy I found that. Now, what is a good way to get where the files are from? Okay, let's, as a last thing that I want to try, let's pretend I want to make my own plugin at this point. And this from HTML looks kind of interesting, but it's very close to what I want, right? Because all I really want is to see. I wonder if it's going to. Yes, is it going to be capable of doing JS files too? Or maybe it doesn't need to. That's a question. Okay, back up one more time. How does Purge scan for the files? Can we reuse Purge's content scan or whatever it does? Right? Because it has to get that somehow. Yes, PurgeCSS can do its own scan of CSS, but it also has Webpack. Right? So Webpack has its own thing where it can take CSS from a loader and then push that into PurgeCSS, and then that chunk would then be known as the source of CSS that needs to be purged. And that's what this is actually doing. Oh my goodness. Should I then go to Webpack plugin? Like, wow, like where do you stop with this thing? Because if I am using Webpack for some of my web components work, and I do a lot of my imports. No, but that's important CSS. No, because I wouldn't be important CSS in my Webpack. And I wouldn't be important style HTML and JavaScript there either. The idea is to have top level CSS is to be applied directly to the component. So there isn't really important going on. No, that's not going to help. No, I don't think Webpack is going to help here. No. Maybe there is some mysterious way it could, but I'm not seeing it right now. So how does Purge actually scan the files, right? So it does file format content, Right, so this is the piece of file parser that I see being copied in multiple places now. I see it being used by Purge's own file scanning thingy and PurgeCSS's file scanning abilities. I see in both cases they use... Yeah, where is this tree coming from? Okay, so get PurgeCSS, first parameter. This is options. I want to know where is this root coming from. No, it's okay, it's parsing it. Okay, so if I have PurgeCSS that parses my CSS files, that gives me the root. I then do the purge on that root, but I still keep the root. So if I'm to have my own module, I suppose, that scans the JavaScript and HTML sources for selectors, I do that on my own while keeping my own CSS tree. Then I will not necessarily need to change the result purge because I'm going to be in charge of my own tree. That's an idea. That is a curious idea indeed. How about one more experiment? Probably won't get to write an actual plugin today, but this is Purge CSS here, right? But this is mostly from Post CSS, right? It's tempting to have it inline here because Post CSS actually knows how to deal with the Tailwind plugin, right? Tailwind is a plugin for Post CSS, which is very convenient. Yeah, this plugin here is so tempting. It really is, because if I can just hook into what Purge Css is doing. Could be really useful, but jumping ahead there. Let's comment this out and just say that const purge css, and we'll say require and I want just purge css, not as a plugin at right, so just that. Is that how you install it? Let's see, if I go to npm, so if I go to npm and I go to Purge CSS, how do you actually install it? This thing is 206. Okay, oh wait, oh, there's no namespace for it. What? Really now? Okay, that's interesting. Okay. So apparently don't need that. And we'll say 206. Alright, so that's getting installed. That means now I can do what did it say it wants to do? From Purge CSS. Right. What? Purge CSS. What's the usage? Oh, await new Purge CSS. Okay, so that's the intended usage from the top. Whatever, we'll just copy that for a second. Yeah, there is no await here though. Yeah, Purge CSS results. And I want to do .js as and let's just say components.js, right? So components and all the JS files underneath components, right? Can that work? Well, let's give me anything. Oh, apparently not. Child mini CSS plugin. Purge CSS not default. Right. Do that. Really, it's not liking it at all. Yeah, not a constructor. Well, what is it then? That's that thing. Await new. Well, if it's not a constructor, what are you? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I have Purge CSS here. You're definitely not going to want to do an await because, well, that's a node thing. Yeah, figured that you wouldn't like that. Is that already constructed? Nope. Is not a constructable. Well, what is this? Come on. You have user defined. This is the function right there. Why do you not want to do it when I do it manually? See, I want to manually take the Purge Css thing and just run it. Okay, how do more intelligent people than myself do it? If you take the HTML version, right, they have parser here, but where is the actual purge happening place? Yeah, this is probably the most confusing one. Because I don't see the actual purging taking place here at all. Like, nothing. And the post CSS version, how does it get purged into here? Yeah, it just imports it. If I create a new, if I create a new instance of it, but the thing is I can't use the import syntax here yet because I am doing this at the level of node. Like, this isn't Babel as far as I can tell. So if I do, I don't know, I could try. Let's see, how do they do it exactly? I could try do that. That will most likely fail. I can totally see that fail. And now they create an instance of it. Yep, so Purge Css there. Like, this is totally going to fail. See, it fails because import is not a thing in Node.js for some strange reason yet. So that's why I did it as require, which is present. But now that I do this thing, whatever, equals new Purge CSS like that. I'll just take that out for a second. You will complain that it's not a constructor, which is absolutely odd. Like, is that a thing I'm not aware of? What? Okay, so apparently it was a bug in the way it was described. If you are using with require, you should be able to import like the seriously? Sigh. Okay, so apparently the way it was written in the docs is not how you actually are supposed to use it. Excellent. So if you do it like that, what is the officially incorrect way to do it? Purge CSS that, like that. Wait, what? Await new. Oh, good lord. Await new. And now this goes in the sync function for. What was the suggested way? Yeah, async function. Purge. Not even purge, but yeah, purge. Unused CSS, whatever. Just some random name. I want to know what I can get out of here at this point, right? So that's async function, and we'll say purge CSS results at this point. But it's like, how are you supposed to run? Yeah, it's a promised awaited function at the root of the node script, which is not awaited. Okay. The result is undefined because of course it is. Yeah. Isn't that great? So nothing works. That's very good. Do I have my relative paths correctly? So this is running from the perspective of the top. Probably should go into src components and then everything underneath that. But it's like all the directories, and then underneath each directories you do the HTML section, then all the CSS stuff. See, that's underneath the dist. Like, what if I do specifically dist all the stuff underneath there? No, it's, you know, it just doesn't want to do it. No, that's too much. Running it the way it is said to be running it is too much to ask, as many people have also expressed similar issue. So do I have to go inside of this thing? So if I go in, promise, what? Wow. No, just this thing is not going to let me run Purge Css on my own terms now, will it? No, it will not. Because I really want to actually try this. Okay, last thing I will try before going for the day is... So this project is useless at the moment. Taking... I don't know, can I do... No, that's something else. This one just seems like the similarest, the most similar at least to what I want to do, right? It just seems like the most close to what I want. You got this thing. still don't know where root is coming from. Maybe root is coming from the fact that it's middleware pipeline of kinds, right? If PurgeCSS has a bunch of plugins and they're happening in line with each other, is this that root? Is this the root that is the pipeline output from post creating trees of the CSS structure? It's hard to tell. How is this thing being tested? Remove a new CSS from content function option successfully. Okay, so you got your file, you got your CSS file, and you got your expected. You got source file again for some reason. I don't know why, whatever. Content function. So it picks up the HTML from fixtures. I guess from here. Used class. Used class. So it takes the content function, which is this thing. Oh, that's a static function. Oh, that's curious. Import. Oh, no. That's the thing itself. Okay. And then there's the dot process. Ooh. Okay, that's coming straight from PurgeCSS sources. That's utterly useless. I'm really not seeing exactly where I can hook this thing into. I am not. And the HTML one is just confusing me so much. Because it's not actually doing any purging. It seems to just only parse and give me the selectors back. Get selectors in node, that's it. Maybe it uses the purge from HTML internally somewhere. CSS from HTML. Is it using? Yeah, I see like that. There's no documentation for it. Demonstrate like there is nothing. The usage of it is still in to do. It's not used by anything. Okay, so it's not an internal dependency. What is going on with others? Oh, this just has a test. That's great. Webpack, WordPress. What am I supposed to do with this? Selectors. Where is the root node here? How is the root node being generated here? Because I need the root node. Or over at Purge, when you go here and you do the actual purge like that, right, here is scanning for files. Okay, you know what? How much of this can I reuse? How much of this can I reuse? Because yeah, it's pretty simple that I can reuse this chunk and push it into here. But I can't even test that because the way node works, it's not letting me create an instance of the thing. It's like, why is the node not wanting me to create an instance of it? Because if I can just do that, I should be good. If I create an instance here, like extract selectors from files, file format content. Is this the format content? What is file format contents? Oh, come on, seriously? I know you went into here before. Okay, how did you manage to do it otherwise then? Because you have your rejected one, right? This is your dot purge. This is your dot content, right? This is the dot. What? Okay, I must have been in the. Oh yeah, I'm in the wrong one. Okay, fine. So I want to use this one. What is raw format contents? And file format contents. File format contents. That thing. Okay. And that's coming from which test? Okay, that's coming from there. Okay. So yeah, but this is the piece that's giving me undefined, right? Because I want this. I just want to take that. But it doesn't let me. And PurgeCSS, PurgeCSS. When I go here, no, so that's a test file. When I go here, okay, so these are like what, static functions or something? Okay, so they seem to be publicly accessible. So if they're publicly accessible, then can I just do something as basic as taking this piece, putting this into mine here, what do you mean instance member not accessible? What? It's public, no? Extract selectors from file, right? These are the files that I want. File format content is this piece, right? So I want yeah, I want this essentially, right? I want to run this chunk, and extractors are okay. I don't have any extractors. Fine. Yeah, extract selectors from files. That's all I want. Extract selectors from files. Can I just get this far? I know how to get the CSS tree. I can do that in a little bit, but I just want to get the usage of this const CSS file select. Yeah, I just want to get to my files. That's all I want right now. Just to get to my files. You didn't even go there. I mean, yeah, it is an unused, but that's the thing. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. It's an async method, which means that it's not going to go there unless it's awaited for. And because it's a node process, it's going to probably happen in the background at some point, right? what is this one? Oh, this. But that's like not even what I'm trying to do. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't care about it. Right? It's not going to go into that function. Let's clear all of this. Yeah, see, it goes there straight away. Unhandled promise. Yeah, of course it's unhandled. The reference Purge Css is not defined. Seriously? Okay, this is gonna get super ugly right now. I mean, that is as ugly gets. Oh, really? Did I actually have a spell in that? Wait, what? Oh, no. Jeez. That's what happened. Okay. So is that gonna help now? Well, it's not gonna go to a breakpoint because that's now exited from the process, right? Okay, so I don't think it crashed. Extract is not defined. Okay, that's fine. So that's good. They're just gonna be empty. Right. So no extractors. Is not a function. Because why would it? Why would this thing do what it says that it's supposed to do? Wouldn't be JavaScript then. Yeah, I'm thinking of taking a break here, stopping the stream, do a fix up of the development environment, because I want to be able to make an instance of Purge, maybe make an instance of Post. Wait, do I need an instance of Post? No, I don't want an instance of Post. I just want an instance of Purge, and I want it to tell me what files have what selectors, which can be done. Now that can be done, I guess, also through that HTML plugin, right? Because you have here file names but this is file names from CSS, right? This is yes, select extract from files, file names, file name push. Well, that's an interesting one. I haven't seen this before, actually. What are the file names here? What are these file names? Are the CSS file names? Okay, that's a GS file name. Whoa. See, this is different. I did not see this in the previous version. I did not, in fact, see this in the previous version. If it was there, I didn't see it. But now that I'm looking at it, it's not there. So these files selectors, merge extract the selectors for every file. So these are my files, and these are my, yeah, see what it's doing is it's taking all the files and pushes together all the selectors from every file, which isn't very useful for me. Only if I maybe, let's see, selectors is what? Extractor, result detail, attributes, classes, IDs, tags. Yeah, it's not a map of files to selectors, but just selectors. No, it doesn't change the fact that I need to make a separate thing that scans what selectors are in what files. I mean, that's the thing. I can actually do that. See, I can actually do that. Extract selectors. It is a public function, right? Hopefully it's public. Yeah, extract selectors. So I can do that. I can tell it and say content. How is this used? Extract raw. Okay, what is this place? Extract selectors from string versus extract selectors from file. Okay, which takes in content that is being read into the file. Okay, so it literally makes no difference. So this, I just want this little thing. Extract selectors from every file. Can I do that? Purge Css dot no, apparently that's not a public method, so that's disappointing. But it's like this, like how does this thing tell me, how is this thing telling me that Purge Css extract from is not a function? Okay, so let what was the okay, that thing. So Purge Css equals new Purge Css, like that, right? Make an instance of it, and then I'm going to say purge dot extract selectors from files. Oops, take this thing out of here, put that in there, give it empty one of those, and const selectors. I don't know what type this, what type does this thing give me? It's giving me, oh, it's well, that's interesting. So this has to be awaited. Okay, because it gives me a promise. Okay, so that has to be awaited on. That goes in here. Selected. What am I supposed to do with that? Again, what? So if I use Purge Css, as a construct, it's telling me, okay, what, let me just kill this thing. Like what? Hello? Do I have access to that other method? Because I really want that one method. I don't want to just give me all the selectors. I want to get a selector per file. So get file extractor, that's private. Extract selectors. Yeah, see, there is no private or public here. See, I just want this. I want this. Just that. Okay, no, that's like strategies for extractors. This, I want to access extract selectors, which apparently I'm not allowed to access. And there is also this suspicious Purge CSS from HTML. It's almost as if maybe they want to move away from doing the extractors this way and move towards the HTML version of it. Okay, so even if I know, like if I can parse HTML, get selectors in node, What does it give me? Yeah, it gives me select as a node. Yeah, it gives me elements, which are not the same nodes that like PurgeCSS gives me. So what I imagine is that this thing is giving it the elements node. This looks incomplete, right? This looks incomplete, and what I'm suspecting is, unlike the string extractor, they want to get the actual JavaScript DOM tree of elements and then walk through that to extract the selectors, as opposed to doing regular expressions or whatever they're doing with the strings, right? Because that's pretty much what I'm doing with my sample here. Now it's not going to work for me to do the HTML one because, well, these are JavaScript components, so I don't really need HTML, unless the only reason I would need HTML for web components is if I'm doing templated components, where I have a template tag in a main HTML file, which I have done before. Template tag in a main HTML file, no HTML in the actual web component, and then you would bring the clone node, but that's only going to work half the time, because the other half the time is like dynamically changing the attribute classes, so I still can't use this. No, and the fact that this stupid thing is telling me that Purge CSS is not a constructor is really aggravating right now. Because I can't do my experiment on how well I can get the elements per file. What is this dot default? What is that? Okay, no, that's somebody did something else up there. Yeah, that's that. That's this. That is what I'm... Oh, okay, well, he's doing an import. Yeah, I would do this if I was in, like, high level module, I guess. But I'm in my build process, right? This is part of my build process. I can't imagine these brackets would mean anything. And I know they're useful when you have like more than one thing that you want to import. Yeah, that's me making an oh, wait. Wait, seriously? The constructor has to be awaited on? What? How did I miss that? Oh goodness. Did I actually miss that constructor is a promise on its own? Whoa. Whoa. That is interesting. Okay, so construct. So it is indeed not a constructor. It is a promise. Oh. Okay, I guess that was on me. Jesus, what is this? Okay, this thing just tokenized everything there was to tokenize. This thing just tokenized. What this even is? Wow. This thing tokenized quite a bit of stuff that I'm not sure I wanted it to. What files was it looking in? Like, seriously? Did it look inside there by any chance? Okay, let's be more specific here, because we don't need to do that. So src everything and the HTML array. So we'll go here now. Select as, okay, slightly less. Yeah, I think it was actually scanning my node modules, which is a bit, crazy. Head title, that's doing, ooh. What is, okay, it's a little, So it doesn't know how to parse my JavaScript very well. See, I think the previous one did. I think the previous one was a bit smarter. Oh no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, I remember it was also tokenizing JavaScript, and it thought that all of my JavaScript functions were actually tokens. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's a little bit on the silly side. So if I have, wow, this is 221 tokens just from this small tiny JavaScript file, or not JavaScript file, web component. I mean, my web components are huge. I mean, my web components go to many hundred lines. So 221 for just this thing is gonna explode in the real project. Yeah, we might need a more intelligent extractor. Yeah, we're definitely gonna need a more intelligent extractor. The only other way would be to enforce a self-imposing rule where I have anything that needs to be styled goes into template strings of the main page. No. Oh gosh, I just realized something. If the styles are in a templated string of the main page, then it's not going to do correct matching between file name where it happened, the web component name, and the selector. Ooh. That's not good. Yeah, because in that case, the extract matcher would have to actually know that the CSS selectors that are coming into web component are actually coming out of a template tag from a different HTML page. What I mean by that is, let's see if we can dig up an example. Let me bring up an old one from here in a second. Go to here. Wait, actually, would that be here? No, that won't be there. Let me just bring this example up. Isn't this one? No, that looks like my old Sencha project. Where would it be? This one, I think. Yeah, this looks more like it. Okay, so if I bring that over and then I do, yeah, template, right? So new profile. And then I go over to profile. Will this be it? Come on. Seriously? Why can't you open up my file? What are you doing? I want to open a file. I don't. There we go. Would this help? So if I have my template here, a client info view, for example. Yeah, see, what I'm doing is I am taking this new profile template here. That's a template. I am grabbing its content and I'm appending that into the web component, which means that whatever styles are here, like that and that and that, they're never going to be known as the tags or class selectors that are used by the new profile controller component. Right? Oh, totally forgot about that. So that's going to be a difficult one. That will definitely require an actual understanding of what the JavaScript code does at the execution level, which is not good. That is not good at all. No, it is not. Yeah, I'll have to think about that one. And okay, so I've said this for like 5 times now. So the really last thing I want to do is there any way I can, yeah, so we know it doesn't work in many cases, but still I want to know if I at the very least can where is that thing gone? Yeah, do this one. Or is this a private function? Because if that's a private function, then that's not going to be good. You're a private function, aren't you? You are a private function. Why I keep on looking for the thing? Yeah, this one. Yeah, so content, the string. Yeah, so looks like the extraction is going to be a whole separate issue. That pretty much doubles the scope of the project. So the first scope is writing out the constructable object. Okay, we can do that with having access to the CSS tree, which we did finally found. Yes, we actually found something today, so that's good. Reliably extracting selectors from files and matching them against where they came from. It's not letting do even the basics because those are private methods. The thing that extracts selectors from a file is a private method, and the thing that is a public method doesn't keep track of where selectors came from. And to be honest, I probably want my own extractor anyway, the way things are going. I'm not sure. So I'm closing up for the day. I might do some work off screen. What I'll probably do is I'll think about how to set up the development environment to proceed further on my own. Because I really like this thing that I found, which was the CSS. Let's see, what was that? Walk or something? Oh yeah, walk through CSS. Oh yeah, I really like this function. And I really like this function. This is a good function. It's giving us the tree that I'm looking for. But I'm kind of out of ideas of how do I set up the project to take advantage of it, especially because setting up node projects is so difficult for me. So I'll do that on my own. Setting up the project to get to the walkthrough CSS, and I'll think about how I would want to extract selectors, probably using a different library. It seems like I would have to. Because this thing just wants a post CSS route, right? So the wonderful thing here is that in order to walk the CSS tree, it's not Purge CSS's own tree, it's post CSS's tree, which is really convenient because I can just throw whatever the hell tree I want at it. That's great. I'll think about how to set that up on my own. And then once I get that figured out, then next stream, I would see how to actually write those out into the CSS object, the standard one, a constructable one. So I will do that next time. For now, I am going away. Good evening.